Hi, Rob here. Welcome to the IELTS writing course. This lesson is all about, get my computer to work, here we go. Task 2, writing public band descriptors. So we're going to look at the essay and in this part 1 we will look at the question types and how to answer the question. Okay. So it's all about task response, which means how well do you answer the question? Okay. Do you answer it well or not well? Or do you even answer it? So Band 8 sufficiently addresses all parts of the task. Band 7 addresses all parts of the task. Band 6 addresses all parts of the task, although some parts may be more fully covered than others. So you need to address or discuss or talk about all parts of the question. You can't just talk about part of it and not another part. Okay? So we're going to talk about how to do that in this video. Look at 5. Addresses the task only partially. So you don't answer all of the question. You talk about half of it or part of it. So that means you're a 5. The format may be inappropriate in places. So that this is an essay, so you can't have bullet points. And you don't write thank you at the end. Or please give me a 7. Some people do that, which is, as you can see, immediately the wrong format. So don't do that. 4 responds to the task only in a minimal way, or the answer is tangential. Tangential means it goes off on a tangent, on a different angle. So it answers a different part of the question. Surprisingly, this is quite common. Often people don't read the question very carefully and they don't quite understand the question and they don't think about it enough, so they answer the wrong question. So you'll find that task response is one of the hardest parts of this to answer. And that's why we are studying this first, hopefully, because we need to get it right. It's not an option. So you need 250 words. If you write less, you will be penalised. You'll lose marks. You've got to address the task, which means answer the question. You must not answer what you think the question is. So a lot of people have this problem, and it depends on your educational culture. For example, a lot of Chinese and Korean students will try to memorize answers, which never works, doesn't work, because all the questions are slightly different. And as you can see, you must address the right question. If you answer the wrong question, then, as it said, you're a 4. So don't memorize questions. Focus on this question that you're reading right now and think about that with a fresh mind. Not thinking, oh, I did one like that before, I will do the same thing here. Don't do that. That's a terrible idea. So you've got to be very careful that you answer that particular question. Okey-doke. So here's some question types. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So the question obviously has 2 ideas, some positives and negatives, or advantages, disadvantages, for or against. You need to discuss both of them. I'm using 4 fingers here because, as I will explain, we need 2 ideas in one main paragraph and 2 ideas in another main paragraph. So we need to discuss one view and the other view and give your opinion, which we will talk more about. Then you have, do you agree or disagree? And to what extent do you agree or disagree? So, do you agree or disagree means give your opinion. You need to say it directly. So therefore you need to have an opinion. To what extent means how much do you agree or disagree? Do you totally agree? A little bit? How much? A lot? You need to explain how much you agree or disagree, very directly, clearly. Then we have the two-part question, which could be problem and solution or cause and effect. So it'll say, what are the reasons for the increase in stress in society? And then it might say, what should the government do about it? Or what can people do about it? Something like that. So the opinions is important. It's important to have an opinion and make it clear, as I will explain. Here's a tip, some tips. Do not use the words in the question. Now, this is a difficult point. Certainly, if you just change some words in the question and put that in your essay, that's not good. That's pretty rubbish. So certainly copying phrases, clauses or sentences from the question is a very bad idea, and you will lose marks for that. So we want to try not to use the same words, but don't try too hard. A lot of people try really hard and then they use the wrong word, so it doesn't make sense. So in other words, you're trying to get a high score in vocabulary by using different words, but you're using the wrong ones, so then you get a low score. So when I say don't use the words, I really mean try not to. And some of them are unavoidable. So, if we're talking about health, what other words is there for health? You can talk about well-being, but it's not exactly the same, so we need to be careful. And if you watch the vocabulary lessons, I will show you and teach you how not to do that. So, in other words, try not to use words in the question, but we don't want mistakes, so that's the risk. As I said, we need 4 ideas written in the 2 main body paragraphs. So these 4 ideas we will extend and support. So we'll make our point, give an example, and or a result. Okay, that's our goal. So we will talk about this in the planning lessons. This is a big one. Don't think I don't know anything about this. Everybody knows enough, apart from very young. Teenagers have some problems with the IELTS questions, but if you're an adult, then you should be able to do this. And a lot of people think, oh, I don't know, they panic. I don't know anything about this. Oh, it's not my favourite topic, whatever. Who cares? Stop complaining. Get your thinking right. If you say I don't know anything about this, your brain will close. I can't do it. I don't know anything about it. Poor me. It's a stupid way to think. Don't do it. It closes your mind, and then your brain will not help you. So don't do that. Do think, what do I know about this? This will open your mind. Oh, what do I know about this? Oh yeah, I went to university and I did something I liked. I didn't do what my parents told me to do, or whatever the situation. We all know enough. So it's important to get this thinking, the thought process, you must get right. This is what successful people do. People that perform well. They have a process that they follow every time to be successful in what they do. So a lot of people in IELTS, they keep doing the same thing and getting the same results. So if you do that, well, you will get the same result, which is probably not what you need. So if you want to get better results, change what you do. Change yourself. So as we will talk about in a separate lesson, but we want to get better ideas and better vocabulary. So ask yourself these questions: when, where, what, why, how, who. So, for example, if the essay is about university, ask yourself, what is a university? Why do people go to university? When did people start going to university? How do they go to university? Where? Everywhere? Every country? Everyone goes? These simple questions will give you ideas. Again, there's another lesson on that, so see other lesson. So here's a question. So again, pause the video for a moment and think, how many parts are there to this question? Okay, so pause and think about it. Read the question carefully. Some people believe the aim of university is to help graduates get better jobs. Others believe that there are much wider benefits of university education to both individuals and society. Express both views and give your opinion. So, first, how many parts? Think about it. Are there one part? Is there one part? 2 parts? 3 parts? Or 4 parts? 1, 2, 3. So if you don't talk about society, if you only talk about university helps people get better jobs and it's good for individuals because it helps them to learn to think, and you miss society, you didn't answer the question, did you? You partially answered it. So remember, that's a 5. Let's have a look at some ideas. Look. So here are 4 ideas to help answer that question. So again, pause the video, take a moment to read them. But as you can see in the different colours, they are answering different parts of the question. Okay, so don't miss any parts. So read the question carefully. I can't stress that enough. It's very, very important. So here's some examples. Another example, sorry. So sorry, this one has both views, doesn't it? I'm discussing both views, and you need to include your opinion in the introduction. Here's agree or disagree. Education is not a luxury, but a basic human right, and as such, should be free for everyone. Free for everyone, that's the question. Irrespective of personal wealth. So irrespective means it doesn't matter if you're rich or not. So do you agree or disagree? Do you? What do you think? So you need to have an opinion. For me, I totally agree. And it doesn't matter whether you agree or not, but you need to come to a conclusion. No one cares if you agree or not, but you need a conclusion. Okay? Your position must be clear. You must have a clear position. So in other words, it's easy for the reader to understand what you think. Again, we will talk about that in another lesson. Here's my 4 ideas. Again, take a moment to look. I'm totally agreeing. But if you want to get a 7 or more, you must acknowledge, you must mention, you must talk about the other side of the argument. So here, so I've got 3 ideas here, saying that I totally agree. My 4th idea, some people say if you can pay, maybe you should. So that's acknowledging or talking about the other side. Okay. So again, pause the video and take a moment to read those ideas. Example 3. Eating a healthy diet is the most important factor for a healthy life. To what extent do you agree? So how much do you agree? You totally agree? Somewhat, partly, barely, not at all? It's really from 100% totally, not at all, 0. Somewhat, maybe 50, partly, 30, barely, 10, 20. For me, I somewhat agree, as you can see here. We need to put our opinion in the introduction. You must. Again, we talk about this in another lesson about structure, but you really need to, because your opinion needs to be clear throughout. So all the way through, we need to understand your opinion. So as you can see, basically, Food is very important for a healthy life, but exercise is also important. It's interesting in this question as well. Look, eating a healthy diet is the most important factor, the most important, the number one. So maybe you think exercise is more important than food, or you think that having healthy thinking is more important than food. So that's what you need to say. So I'm saying I somewhat agree. I think food is very important, possibly the most important, but exercise is also important. Also notice here, look, lists of 3 are an opportunity to show your lexical range, your vocabulary. So look, unhealthy food and drink consumption leads to disease, obesity, and a likely early death. Lots of information. Lists of 3 are good. They give us a more precise idea of what you think, so your position is clearer. You're showing better vocabulary. So do that. English is an information language. We need lots of information. So give us more. We find that people from East Asian cultures, for example, so China, Japan, Korea, they don't give us enough information. Anyway. Example 4. Stress is now a major problem in many countries around the world. What are some of the factors in modern society that cause stress, and how can we reduce it? We will talk more about the introduction another time. So this is the 2-part question. 2 causes, 2 suggestions. So my 2 causes of more stress are too much financial stress, anxiety, fear. Again, a list of 3. Unhealthy lifestyles, poor diet, lack of exercise, work, and urban living. So, lists of 4 are also fine, but we like 3 or 4. And here's 2 suggestions. Stop letting banks and financial institutions lend too much money. Stop creating unnecessary fear through the media. Grow healthy food, build positive feeling cities, which means cities with lots of green trees and not ugly. Again, lists of 3 important. Okay, so that's how to analyze the question. Read it very carefully. Think to yourself, what do I know about this? Analyze it. Ask yourself when, where, what, why, how, who to get ideas. Get 4 ideas in a plan, which we will talk about. We're going to talk about these other parts of this as well. We've got the task response part 2, how to produce ideas, how to structure ideas. All of these are essential to get the right score. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it's helpful. Have a fantastic day. Goodbye.